Alright, welcome. This is the homework video for lessons 11 and 12 from Algebra 1. Alright, the first one says, given the slope and a point, describe the following lines using slope-intercept form. So we're already given our m, and now we really need to find our b. And the best way to do that, without having to graph it, is remember that y equals mx plus b. And this x and this y can be any point on the line. So we can use these points right here and just plug in what we know and solve for b. So y is going to be from our point right here, so that's 2. Our m was given to us, our slope is 5. Our x is from our point, so that's 1. And then b is what we're looking for. So now we have a simple algebraic equation. 5 times 1 is 5. And then we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. We end up with -3 equals b. So now we have our m and we have our b. And we can go back and say that y equals m, which is 5x, plus our b. So here we have the equation of the line in slope-intercept form without having to graph it. We just start here and we put in all the points that we know. So here's another one. Number 10 on 11a says that our slope is 6 and our point is -3, 6. So remember, this point right here is really the x and the y. We're already given our m, and if we use y equals mx plus b, we're going to plug in the x and the y from our point. We're going to plug in our m from our given slope, and then we're just going to solve for b so that we can rewrite the equation. So we're going to say 6. M is also 6, and our x is -3 plus b. So we have 6 equals -18 plus b. If we add 18 to both sides, we have 24 equals b. So now we write our slope-intercept equation. Y equals m, which is 6, x plus b, which is 24. So we do all of this to solve for our b so that we can put our b in right here and we can put the m that we're given right there. And then we have the equation in slope-intercept form. Alright, 11a, number 16. We're given just 2 points on a line, and we need to describe the line using slope-intercept form. So this time we're not given the slope at all, and so that's what we need to start with. Remember that we learned in class that our slope is our rise over our run, and our rise means we're going in the y direction. So if we have 2 points, we could say y2 minus y1. We just want to know the difference in the y direction. Between this point and this point, what is the difference? And that's going to be subtracting the y's. So that's all we're doing right here. Our run is in the x direction, so we're just going to subtract our x's to figure out what is the difference between the two of them. When we're drawing our x and drawing our triangle, this is the x direction, this is the y direction, so we just want to know what's the difference in the points between here and here. So if we look at these, and if I want to label it, I can say that this is my point 1, so I'm going to say that's my x1 and this is my y1. This number 2 right here is going to be our x2, and then 1 would be our y2. I don't know if I made that one clear enough. Alright. So now we have 4 numbers, our x1, y1, x2, y2, and that's what we're going to plug in right here to figure out our slope. So our y2 is 1 minus our y1, which is 6. Then our x2 is this one, so that's a 2. And our x1 is right here, it's a 4. 1 minus 6 is -5. 2 minus 4 is -2. They're both negative, so we can make them both positive and say that our slope is 5/2. Now we're going to use the slope-intercept form to figure out what our b is. Because we know our m, we just figured that out right here, but we don't know what b is. Now for our x and y, it doesn't matter if we plug in 0.1 or 0.2, but we just need to plug in the same point for the x and the y. So I'm going to choose this one right here. So my y is 6, my m is 5/2, and my x is 4. I'm going to write it as 4/1 to help me when I multiply. And then b is what we want to know, so that's our only variable. If we can fill in all but one variable, we can solve for that one. So here 6 is equal, right here when we multiply we'd have 20/2, which would be the same thing as 10, plus b. We subtract 10 on both sides. We get -4 is equal to b. So now we have, this was our m, this is our b, so I write y equals m x plus our b. It just takes practice to know these formulas and be able to use them and plug things in and get to where it's pretty fast when you do it. Alright, now we're moving on to 12a. We have write the inequality in slope-intercept form. So right now it has the x and y on the same side and there's a number in front of the y. So all it's asking is us to rearrange this so that we have it in slope-intercept form. So remember, the first thing we're going to do is move our x to the other side. So now we have -2y less than -4x plus 6. Then we're going to divide by what's in front of the y. So we're going to divide everything by -2. When we have an inequality, if we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to change the direction of this. So when I start to write this, I'm going to say I divided by negative, so I need to switch the direction. Then we have -4 over -2, which is just a positive 2x, and this will be -3. Now you're done and you've written the inequality in slope-intercept form. Remember though, we divided by a negative, so we had to switch this sign, and then we left the y on the same side, and the x already moved over. So when we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to change the direction that the inequality is. Alright, last one for the homework video. 12c, and I'm going to go ahead and do all of it, numbers 1 through 5. Alright, we're given an inequality and we're supposed to rewrite the equation for the boundary line in slope-intercept form. So this inequality is our boundary line. If we plot this just as a line, that would give us what we need to shade on one side or the other. So that is our boundary line. Alright, to rewrite it in slope-intercept form, we have a -y and then x is on the other side. So all we have to do is get rid of that negative. But when I do that, let's say that I take this and I multiply by -1. When I do all this multiplying, I have to switch the direction of the sign. So as I go through and do this, I'm going to say y is now less than. Negative times a negative is a positive, so we have 2x, and a negative times a negative is another positive. Alright, so this is our new equation for the boundary line. Will the line be solid or dotted? This is less than. It doesn't say less than or equal to. When it does not have the equal sign underneath, then it is dotted. it's not going to be equal to anything on the line. So now we have to graph the line. Our y-intercept is 1, and our slope is 2. So up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And then if I want a point the other way, from here I'm going to go down 2 and backwards 1. Alright, I'm not going to be able to get it how I want it dotted, so. Alright, we're going to draw a line through there. And remember, I want it dotted because something on the line, a point on the line, would not fit this equation. Alright, my line's not great straight, but this will work. Alright, now we want to choose 2 points, one on each side of the line, and plot them. So it doesn't matter what point you choose over here or what point you choose on this side, we just have to choose 2 of them. So I'm going to choose this one right here and this one over here. Alright, so this first one is -2, +2. And this one over here is 3, 0. Now we have to plug them into our equation, our inequality, and see which side is true. So if we plug in this first one, I'm going to do it way up here on the top. I'm going to plug in -2, 2. So my y is 2. Is that less than 2 times my x, which is -2, plus 1? So is 2 less than -4 plus 1? -4 plus 1 is -3. Is 2 less than that? No. This one is false. So it's not going to be this one over here. Let's make sure it's the other side. So that point was 3, 0. If we plug that in, our y is right here. Our y is 0. Is that less than 2 times 3 plus 1? Is this less than 6 plus 1? So is 0 less than 7? Yes, this is true. When it's true, that means that's the side that I'm going to shade. Alright. So now we get to shade that side of the graph because that point on this side of the graph was true. It made the equation true. So that means that that should be in the shaded section. The last part of this question is the point 3, -2 a solution to the inequality? Well, all we have to do is use our inequality and plug in 3, -2. We could solve it this way, or we could look at our graph. 3, -2 is right here. It is in our shaded region. So is that a solution? Yes. We can double check right here by plugging in the numbers. This is our y, so this is -2, less than 2 times our x is 3, plus 1. Is -2 less than 6 plus 1? Yes. Alright, thanks for watching the video. If you did watch the video, then on your test, go ahead and write math is awesome. So if you write math is awesome on your test, then we will give you some extra points. And I'll see you guys Monday.